By the way, mayong hapon kanatong tanan, no? I am Edina Guerrero, your moderator for the hour. Our next topic is about the construction management of the Cebu-Cordova Link Expressway Bridge Project, or the CCLEX. Our resource speaker is, at present, the project manager for the independent consultant of the CCLX. He is an alumnus of the Cebu Institute of Technology University for his Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, and the University of the Philippines for his Master in Engineering, and a board top-notcher in the 1979 CE Board examination. He is a certified specialist in structural engineering and water engineering, and also a member of the Association of Structural Engineers of the Philippines. In his 40 years in the civil engineering profession, he has acquired experience and training in various fields of expertise in project management, detailed engineering, design, construction, supervision, and the academic. In connection with his various projects, he has traveled to different parts of the world: Australia, Southeast Asian countries, including Japan and India, the United States, and Europe. He has developed working knowledge in the use of Microsoft Office and the use of engineering softwares like STAAD, or Structural Analysis and Design, STRAND, or General Structural Analysis, or ACES, or Bridge Analysis, and AutoCAD Drafting. He is also a life member of PIC Cebu chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Engineer Demosthenes T. Redoble.
Daghang salamat, Ma'am Edena. Kumusta ang akong audio? Madungog ra ba ko?
Oh yeah, it's okay.
Okay, akong i-share ang screen para sa akong presentation. Give me a few minutes. Can anybody see my slides? Ma'am Edena?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm gonna play this. Okay, so I have until 3 p.m. for my presentation. So I'll just warn myself. Give me a few minutes. Usahay lamian ka ita nga kalimutas oras niya maikog ta sunod na speaker. Ako rin ng amigo si Mr. Fritz. Okay, that's it. So ato kung miaging presentation sa mga civil engineering students pobida ni taas kay kog maayo, so I don't want to repeat the same mistake. Okay, there you go. So the next few slides will highlight what's going on at the Cebu-Cordova Link Expressway project. So this is the overview of my presentation. First, I'll discuss in a few slides the overview of project manager's role, and then overview of CCLX project, and then overview of the main bridge, and then basics of stay cable design. This structure is not taught in the academy, so I think everybody would welcome a few basic principles of cable stay design, and then construction sequence of CCLX, and then construction photos. By the way, daghang salamat, Ma'am Edena, sa imong introduction. So the next few slides will be the overview of project manager's role. Let me just read the definition of, or the role of a project manager from three certifying bodies. One body is the Association for Project Management based in UK. Another one is the Project Managers Institute based in the US. And still another is PSMJ, which is also based in the US. So from UK, you have application of processes, methods, skills, knowledge, and experience to achieve specific project objectives according to the project acceptance criteria with agreed parameters. Project management has final deliverables that are constrained to a finite time scale and budget. As a project manager, you do not deliver more, you do not deliver less, you deliver what is required within the timeline and within the agreed budget. From PMI, project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. Basically, the same definition as the UK group said. Then PSMJ, project management is the effective project management is often what makes or breaks your firm's profit margin. So this is just the summary. Kung dili maayo ang atong project management, either the quality will suffer or the budget will suffer or both will suffer. This is a typical organization of big corporations. You have the CEO or Chief Executive Officer at the top. You have the Chief Operations Officer next to it. And you have your Managing Director. And you have another director here, Regional Director. And then you have the Group Leader. And then you have the Project Director. The projects with teams 1, 2, and 3 will be controlled by PM. Everything above the PM are just reporting. So you as the project manager has full control of what's going on in the project. That's why it is your responsibility to deliver the project on time, within budget, and to the desired quality. If you are interested to pursue project management in the civil engineering profession, you have to go through some certifying bodies to make yourself marketable. So PICE has a certifying body. To my recollection, we have 4 in the PICE group. We have structural, water, construction, as well as project management. I'm not very sure if this has been there has been changes, but I'm quite sure that project management is one of those. So you approach PICE, disclose that you want to be certified, and probably you will have requirements the same way as a certified structural engineer. Then you have the US-based Project Management Institute. You can take the exam online, and they have review online. Of course, there's a fee in US dollar, and it's not that big. If you fail, you can take again. So you will be certified. The advantage of PMI is it's a global body, and if you plan to work abroad and you flash your qualification that you are accredited by PMI as a project manager, then you have a chance. I say you have a chance. Then there is that PSMJ. By the way, PMI is a global organization with a branch in the Philippines. Then I took my certification from PSMJ, Resource Incorporated. This is also based in the US. The same way they carry out training and they gave exam. If you pass the exam, you will be certified. So I took my certification early 2000 in KL. It was a three-day course, morning and afternoon, and then you take the exam. Nowadays, it's very common to have these trainings online. You take the exam online, and if you pass, you will be certified. I have no personal experience or knowledge about the UK-based ATM. So, as a closing slide to the overview of project manager's role, we have here traits of a good project manager. He follows through on her commitments and on others' commitments. Kung sabi ni saya, papiting kulita, gining PM. Kung dili ka mo duol niya, ikaw mo duol niya, kuliton ka, asa naman tong imong gisaan, asa naman tong akong gipahimo. And a good PM always thinks of safety first. Sa akong mga kauban diha sa CSELEC, sa akong organization sa Norconsult, ako gyud silang giingnan, if it's not safe, it's not worth it. So safety is job number 1 for everybody. And number 3, a good project manager is a good listener. A good project manager is proactive. Di na siya maghuwat. Mo-initiate na siya. Number 5, a good project manager is on top of every aspect of the job. Dili siya mangapa. So he knows exactly what's going on. Project manager is a good communicator. Leads by example. Para sa ato kini very important kini kay unsay buhaton sa leader mo, unsay buhaton sa nagsunod. So he has to lead by example. Then he backs decision of team members. So kung dunay thorny issue, ang akong buhaton, akong i-meet ang technical team, and then mangayo kong consensus, and then once there is that decision, it's gonna stick. Dili ko pwede mo ingon nga ini face na ko sa client or sa contractor kung ay nasayop man ang akong kauban. That's a very poor trait of a project manager. Get the consensus of everybody. Once you make a decision, stick with it. Di na ka pwede mo ingog iyahan ng sa, imo na ng sa, because you are the project manager. And of course, a good project manager is organized. A good project manager handles multiple priorities well. Dili lang kay usad, duha, tulo ang imuhang trabahoon nga nasa table, pero kabalo ka unsay importante. And number 11, project manager is technically proficient. I always encourage the young engineers under my team who work with me to develop a core skill, a core competency before you move on to a project management role. So if you are a structural engineer, be a very good structural engineer. If you are a water engineer, be a very good water engineer. If you are a construction engineer, be a very good construction engineer. Then as you move to the corporate ladder, you'll be given more tasks. You will be ready to handle projects as project manager because you have a strength. Lisod kaayo ang project manager nga walay core strength. Pertigin na lisura, makavisualize lang po unsa kapait. And number 12, project managers holds people accountable. So dili pwede nga magpaligoy-ligoy ra. We are the client ning salig sa atua. So you have to be accountable, you have to report to the work, you have to go to the site, you have to do things which are mandated for you to do. And of course, a good project manager delegates well. Maayong manugo ang mga project manager. Magsigilag meeting, kusog kay manugo. That's why I love this caricature at the bottom. I hope you'll see the humor. Ang secretary, there was a guy who was shopping for a pet monkey. Kini nga joke, ako ning nakuha ngadto sa PSMG training. So ang una niyang nakita nga cage, secretary ang monkey, ang sa monkey secretary. Unya, doon na siya skill, sige siya type. Ang iyang price $1,000. Pag sunod niya nga case nga displays nga skill. Unya, ang iyang skill, computer programmer. Di mahal siya, $2,000. So mas maayog yun ang computer programmer di ay kaysa 1,000. Ang ikatulong case, project manager ang ngalan, kasi lang kunog meeting, unya walay skill, unya perting mahala. So if there is a truth in this caricature, it is the fact that project managers are sometimes the most expensive monkey in an organization. Pero pagkakita na ako sa slide ni Engineer Jerry Maratas, mas mahal din yung structural engineer. Jer, I hope you'll agree. But basically, in an organization sa project, it's the project manager that is the most expensive. So, mo nang dako kayo ang iyahasang responsibilidad. Okay. Now, we are going to an overview of the CESLEX project. Para atong mga wala ma-involved sa project, nakakita mo nga mura na nag-uhungan na ang mga peers na nubo. So, it's good to know how this is being handled. This is the project organization as a whole. So, we have the grantors on top of this project. The grantors are the City of Cebu and the Municipality of Cordova. As grantors, basically, they own the project. The grantors do not have technical skills at that level, so nag-engage sila of independent consultant. That is Norconsult. But Norconsult is not being paid for directly by the LGUs. Norconsult derives its fee from the project cost. Kay kuan man siya, syndicated loan man niya, so sunk in cost ang fees sa Norconsult. Unya, under the grantors is the concessionaire. Mauna ni siya ang CESLEC. CESLEC is a joint venture company between the Metro Pacific Group owned by Manny Pangilinan and the two LGUs. So, ang concessionaire na naad sa grantor nga ilang buhaton ang Cebu-Cordova Link Expressway Project at no cost to the LGUs. Basta lang, they will be allowed to operate the toll expressway for 35 years. So, maunay deal. Okay, among buhaton ng bridge, among buhaton ng expressway, pero let us recover our expenses through toll collection within 35 years. Ang CESLEC nga walay technical skill nga inana ka massive, ning engage o employer's engineer. The employer's engineer is aggregation or joint venture of COVI based in Denmark and DCCD, a well-known consulting firm based in Manila. Okay. At na-mention ni Engineer Maratas, usa sa mga paagi pag-develop ng project is design and build. This project is design and build. So, ang CESLEC ning engage sad og contractor nga joint venture sa tulo ka dagkong contractors. Ang usa, Acciona, based in Madrid. Ang duha, based in the Philippines, nga pertisang dagkua. First, Balfour. They are known for process critical construction like mga hydropowers. Unya, DM Consumhi, which is a civil contractor, and just recently they are into condominium. So, mauna siya design and build nga contractor. Because it is design and build, unya kining mga contractors, dili man nila core strength ang design, nag-engage ang CLJV o designers. No? Ang usa, design consultant, joint venture gihapon. Siner, based in Madrid, and Carlos Fernandez Casado, based in Madrid also. So, mao ni main design consultants. Ang trabaho sa design consultant, i-review unta sa CLJV. Tungod lagi kay ang CLJV, dili kay sila core competency nila ang design, nag-engage sila o third-party independent checking engineer. So, ang design consultant mo generate og calculations and design drawings, i-review na siya sa independent checking engineer, which is FECOR, also based in Madrid. Para lang matinga mo, ano puro may based in Madrid. CLJV is very big in Europe, based in Madrid. So mo nang Sener, Carlos Casado, and FECOR are all based in Madrid. Kulang pa na siya. Dili man na ma-construct na rin sa atoa kay mga foreigners man ni sila. So it has to be accepted by a local engineer. Ang Sibuling joint venture, ning hire sila og local consulting firm, dili lang individual, Pilipinas Bravo Corporation, para i-check ang design with finality. Unya, they will sign off as the design engineers. They are known locally as engineer of record. This is the alignment of the new bridge, the third bridge. So basically, south ni siya sa duha ka existing bridge. Mo ni siya alignment niya. This is SMC side niya, ngari ni Cordoba na ni siya, ang Shell Island ang anha. So I will not waste time on this one because time is very important. It might be good to summarize the lengths. Doon na tayo duha ka on-ramp ug off-ramp. Kung padung ko sa Cordoba, mo patong ko sa on-ramp, and then Cebu Viaduct, and then main bridge, and then Cordoba Viaduct, causeway na dayon na padungad to sa Cordoba. Pero kung gikan ko sa Cordoba, mo agi ko causeway, mo ni Toll Plaza, mo bayad ko nga rin, unya balik ko nga to sa Cebu Viaduct, pero dili na ko kasud sa on-ramp, kay one way man na siya padung sa taas. Ari ko nga rin sa off-ramp, padung na sa SM. So, mao ni iyang mga breakdown sa mga lengths. All in all, the project is about 8.703 kilometers. By the way, the basis of calculating the toll is the length of the project, and that has been agreed by the LGUs and CECELEC. Doon ay mga iconic features ng third bridge. In fact, it's really beautiful. It takes my breath away actually pag kakita na ko aning mga render. So mo ni siya, ari lang tangari. This is the on-ramp ngari sa tuo, this is the off-ramp ngari sa wa. Padung na ni sa SM na rin. So I think my pace is not so slow and I hope it's not so fast. I want to cover as much as possible. Usa sa unique feature ani nga tulay is an illuminated cross. Again, because Cebu is the birthplace of Christianity in the southeast, so i-emphasize good na as part of the branding. So inig gabi makita yun ninyong illuminated cross. Dili na nili kay usa. All four sides of each tower doon ay cross. So walo ka cross tanan nga magsiga. Siguro ang tanan nakabaluman nga next year is the 500th anniversary of Christianity. Gipaninguhaan unta ni nga naningkamot gyud taon ang CECELEC nga mag-closure. When you say closure, mag-abot na ang duha ka ends sa cantilever construction by March 2021. Unfortunately, niabot ang pandemic, it changed the whole thing. But the contractor is still pushing for a completion within 2021. Usa sa mga unique features ani nga project is the use of international design standards. I think always magyud ni siya sa tanang mga dagkong project, labi na kung ang atoang main reference kulang para pag-cover sa tanang aspect. Pananglitan karon, kini nga project taas man kay ng main bridge. Unya ang soil classification sa Cordoba ug ang soil classification sa Cebu side perting lahia. Mubo or very shallow ang bedrock nga rin sa Cordoba, very deep ang dense soil nga rin sa Cebu side. So dunay usa ka code, Eurocode actually, nga nag-cover kung unsaon pag-design sa structures nga dunay spatial variability. So kini nga project, I think, is the first in the Philippines nga ning-gamit aning na code. So breakdown of the designers. Usa sa mga unique features ani niya, daghang kay international designers. Sa main bridge design, mao na ni si Carlos Casado, based in Madrid. Other structures, ang mga on-ramp, off-ramp, ang Cordova Viaduct, mao na ni si Siner. Unya, ang geotechnical and foundation, ang pag-analyze sa tag-as kay nga mga piles, was carried out by a company based in Australia. Kining GHD is a very big company in Australia. I came across GHD when I was seconded in Australia in middle of 2000. So, na-meet ko ni sila, and they have a very big office in Manila, and they just recently moved to Cebu. And I'm not very sure kung naapa ang ilang Cebu office tungod sa pandemic. So, they are looking for expansion here in the Philippines. Unya, ang seismic study, which is a key element of the design, was carried out by a specialist based in the US. So ayun ninyo search ang NV5, makita ninyo, this company is publicly listed. They are quite big. They were the one who performed the seismic analysis and came up with a response spectrum or response spectra to be used in the design of the structures. Again, I mentioned the independent checking engineer. Yung kontento ang contractor, doon na sila designer, ilapag yung ipaagi sa independent checking engineer sa Madrid. Unya, hindi kabut sa Pilipinas, i-check agad siya sa engineer of record. Unya, ang trabaho sa employer's engineer, composed of COVI and DCCD, is basically the technical arm of CSELEC. They give directions to CLJV. Nobody can give directions or instructions to CLJV except the employer's engineer. That is a requirement of the contract. So, sa pag-design o sa pag-construct. So, karon, unsa man di ay role sa independent consultant. Ang akong team, ang among mandate is to review the design and to check the quality of works. Ang among reporting, diretso sa grantors through the PSG. PSG is Project Steering Group. Ang head sa Project Steering Group is Dr. Ricky Datay. So, adto na mo ihatag na mo ang output. So, independent consultant or consult has been in the Philippines for quite so long. They did a lot of project for Metro Pacific in Manila. They are actually based in Norway, pero doon na sila office karon sa Manila. So mao ni amo ang buhat among i-check ang design, recommendations to improve unya ato sa field to make sure nga na-implement ang unsay na asa drawings. Important thing here in the Philippines. So makita ninyo kining slide sa wala, we have had major earthquake. I think the biggest one was October 15, 2013. Katong gipakita ni was actually a Bohol earthquake. So mao na siya. Pero kung imong huna-hunaon, actually, earthquake loves the Philippines very much. Nabulit na gintawon ang atong country kung imong i-map ang tanang earthquake na nahitabo. As we speak, right now, there is earthquake going on. Ang uban lang, dili na. Mao na ni akong giingon nga spatial variability. Cordova side ni siya, soil type 1, mabaw ra ang bedrock nga ri. It's coralline stone, weathered siya, pero gwapo siya o coefficient niyang sibosite is soil type 3, humus. Guys, katong mga familiar sa behaviors sa structure nga og dunay linog tungod kay soft ang soil nga re, stiff nga re, mas dako og displacement ngadtong dapita sa left kumpara sa right. So ang ductility demand basta dunay spatial variability ang ato ang structure, mas dako. That's why the contractor, the designer of the contractor used Eurocode 8 kay wala man na nga rin sa ato ang country. So ayan ko lang ni og explain ha. Medyo graph na raban eh. First, I'd like to inform everybody nga kining CCLEX project is designed based on 2 levels of earthquake. Ang level 1, 100-year return period, ug ang level 2, 1,000-year return period. By comparison, I think, if I still can remember, the return period of the design earthquake for ASIP, I think, is 50-year return period. So I'm not very sure kung na-update na ba na siya, but I remember it's 50-year return period. Unya, magkadugay ang return period na design nga gamiton, magkakusog ang peak ground acceleration. So, muna yung bottom line na niya. So, CCLEX is classified as a critical, this is the operational classification of CCLEX, critical bridge. Unsa may buot, pasabot sa critical bridge. Sa seismic performance level 1, kinahanglan nga after sa level 1 earthquake, walay kadaot nga mahitabo. So, iniguman sa linog, balik na ang traffic. Pero, while imong gi-admit ang traffic sa ibabaw, imong inspeksyonon ang mga bearing sa ubos. Kay mauman na siya mo absorb sa energy. There could be some bearings na ilisanan, dili na siya issue, kay doon na may paagi pag-replace sa bearing. Ang level 2 earthquake, kusog-kusog, this is a 1,000-year return period. Ang seismic performance level niya, kinahanglang maggamit gihapon siya bisag ni agi na ang level 2 earthquake. So while sa seismic performance level 1, the bridge remains within the elastic zone. Sa seismic performance level 2, the bridge is now within plastic zone, adto na musikad iyang ductility demand. So, mo display siya dagko. When we say ductility demand, it's the capacity of the structure to deform without causing failure. No? Musaya ora siya. I'll spend time on the response spectrum developed by NV5. Okay, doon na ni siya set. Makita ninyo kining sa ubos, solid lines ni siya. Mauni siya ang response spectrum sa level 1 earthquake. That is the 100-year return period. So, sa soil classification na sad, kining po mauni soil type 1, blue soil type 2, green soil type 3. So you can see from this response spectra nga magkabati ang soil, magkadako ang peak ground acceleration. So in fact, di ninyo tingin makita, but the difference between soil type 1 and soil type 3 is about 0.1 G. No? So significant kay na siya. Okay. Arita sa 1,000-year return period. By the way, ang maximum nga rin sa level 1 earthquake is just about 0.48 G. 0.48 G, soil type 3. Arita sa level 2 earthquake, which is 1,000-year return period. Kining broken line na nasa ibabaw, naa kay red, naa kay blue, o naa kay green, mauni siya response spectra sa 1,000-year return period ng earthquake. You will notice that for soil type 3, halos 1G na ang iyang peak ground acceleration. So dako kayo siya difference, significant kayo ang difference between level 1 and level 2 earthquake. Okay? Unsa maning black nga broken line. Na-define na siya kanang black nga broken line as the tender stage response spectrum. Nganong gi-appeal man ni sa contractor. So kanang mga project managers ani magmatngon gyud ta ani, ha? Okay, mao ni implication. During the tender sa pagbid ani nga project, CECELEC actually provided information to all the bidders. And one of the information that the company or CECELEC gave was actually seismic study. And in that seismic study, the response spectra is this black line. So makita ninyo nga ubos kayo siya, ikumpara nimo sa response spectra karon sa level 2 earthquake nga dunay spatial variability. So ang bottom line ani nga pasabot sa contractor tungod kay ning dako ang peak ground acceleration, ning dagko ang members, ning mahal ang construction cost, I am going to claim for this additional cost. So the contractor, to my opinion, is setting up himself for a possible claim because of spatial variability. Okay. Is it a valid claim? It's gonna be subject to dispute. I am not the engineer of CECELEC, but I think it's gonna be subject to dispute. Nga naman, kamo kung mag-design mo, tagaan mo data sa inyong kliyente, ayaw ninyo piyunga ang inyong mata, gamiton dayon ninyo ang data. You have to exert, naagi na sa practice engineer, exert due diligence and make sure nga sakto ang data. Kung ang data nga sayop inyong gigamit sa inyong design, you are liable. So there is a clause which is known as prevailing. So there is also a clause wherein contractors have to exercise due diligence and accept once they use the data, they assume responsibility. So I don't know who's gonna win, but I guess this is going to be subject to dispute. By the way, ni alarm na ko, am I given up to 3 p.m. Admin?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, ayun ako.
Yes.
Up to what time ko pwede? 3 p.m., no? Okay, it's all right. I think I'm okay. So, usa sa unique aning project is the vessel collision study. And to demonstrate the point, I have here the alignment of the second bridge on top and the alignment of third bridge below. Makita ninyo nga ang alignment sa second bridge is basically on the straight portion of the channel. So you will notice that by logic, there is a very small chance that the piers, these are the piers of the main bridge, will be hit by wayward vessels. So that's one point. Another point is, ang clearance sa old bridge is just, I think, 24 meters, if I'm not right, 24 meters, if I'm not wrong, I should say. So dili makasuong ang mga dagko kaayong mga vessels. When I say dagko kayong vessels, these are Panamax ships with a deadweight tonnage of about 80,000 tons. So, ug banggaan ni siya og kanang fast craft nato, akong paminaw mabungi ang fast craft. So, mabungi gyud ang fast craft og di gani panumbalingon tingali sa atong pier. Kining mga itom actually wala ni sa original design kay diri man ko sa pag-construct niya. These are actually fenders nga gidungag na lang, probably DPWH added fenders, and these fenders actually absorb the energy of the vessel if ever it will hit this portion. And when it absorbs energy, ang force nga matransfer ngadto sa pilote na decimated na. So depende sa klase sa fenders, sometimes more than 50% of the force can be dissipated. No? So it's really very, very useful. Additional na lang and I think it's really DPWH that really installed these additional fenders. Ang atoang current project, ang CCLEX, naa siya sa bend. So logic will tell us nga dako kaayo og chance nga mabanggaan ni siya. More so, ang mga barko nga mga gingari perting dagua para moadto sa CPA, Cebu Ports Authority. Maong usas sa mga analysis nga gihimo nga gigamit sa design is actually vessel collision study. Ang katong second bridge, wala to siya maapili og I was one of those engineers sa Katahira. It's not because of oversight, but tanawan ninyo ang history sa vessel collision. 1980. Gasugod ang FS ining second bridge, I think is about 1980. And it was implemented by 1995. So makita ninyo unsa ka catastrophic ang mga vessel collision since 1980. Maunang gahimo og provision ang AASHTO specifically for vessel collision. 1980, pilay namatay? 8. Unsay cause? Weather. 1980, unsay namatay? Pilay namatay? 35, weather. Ini mo'y grabe, oh. 1983, human error, namatay 176. So because of this, AASHTO made sure that if there is potential for collision, it has to be one of those considered. And this alignment has very high potential for collision. That's why you have very, very big design loads for Tower 1 and Tower 2, 110 meganewton. So the idea is that if ever there is a vessel collision, ang mabuslot ang barko dili ang pier. Overview of the main bridge. Dili ko magdugay ani kay I think self-explanatory man eh. Muadto lang ko sa design tingali kay murag ganahan tingay mo sa design. Okay. So this bridge is just unfortunate nga dili siya balance cantilever. No? Iyang main span perting taasa mubo ra kayo siya backspan. Ang main span nato is ang backspan niya, combined backspan is just about 120. So by sheer analysis, by intuition, kabalog yung ka nga birahon ni siya paibabaw tungod kay dako kaig load nga rin. Nganong dili man balance cantilever ang gigamit? Ang main reason ana kay tungod sa alignment. Ang alignment good sa second bridge or sa third bridge. I think I have it here. Mao ni alignment sa CCLEX. This is the main bridge. So ang alignment sa CCLEX is from the main bridge gikan ka Cordova, muliko man ka padung sa SM, padung sa existing CSCR. So dili man ka mo padayon ngadto. Mao nang you don't have any opportunity to have a balanced cantilever. Kung pananglitan diretso pa ang alignment, mortal sin yun na, dili ka mo gamit og balanced cantilever. Pero tungod sa iyahang peculiar alignment, dili yun pwede ang balanced cantilever. So I hope that I have explained that. So there are 114 strands here. Unya 118 strands ngadto sa gawas, 68 strands, 69 strands, 69 strands, 68 strands. Magkadaghan ng strands, magkadako ang force. So logic will tell us nga perting dako ang unique force. Kay ang inclination sa cable almost horizontal na, dili siya efficient. So it has to have more force, and that force can only be achieved if you have more strands. Okay. Mao ni pier table, constructed ni siya using traditional support. Gikan sa pier table, cantilever construction na padong sawa o padong sa tuo. Okay? Mao ni main span nga na sa tuo, mao ni main span nga na as far as T1 is concerned, mao ni back span. Okay. Let's take a look at one cable. Kini nga cable, F1Z, unsaan man nimo pag-initiate sa design ani niya. Okay. Take a look at this one. Then, segmental man ang construction na to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, this B, dimension sa usa ka times 2, that's 12. Makalculate nimo ang weight sa segment nga suportahan sa cable. I think that's very, very clear. Because you know the weight that will be supported by the cable, kung nakabaluman ka sa inclination sa cable, it's so easy to solve. The thickness about 0.7 meter thick nga rin sa ibabaw para maka-develop og load transfer na hinumdum mo ang horizontal component ani niya kinahanglang equal sa horizontal component para doon na equilibrium, and then you will be able to calculate the ballast on the backspan. Actually, kuan siya, steel frame siya. So mauni ang steel frame. Wala ni siya continuity. So doon na ni gap for each cable, set of cable, doon na siya gap. Okay. So mao tong nga picture, that picture. And then I have to end my discussion. I hope you pick up something. Daghang kayong salamat. Amin.
Thank you. It's very appreciative. If you have questions, you will have them tomorrow. And we would like to proceed to the next topic.